Ever wondered how much your business is really worth or what buyers actually care about? Today, we're breaking down the real sale of a tutoring franchise and the twist. The buyer was moving from Canada on an E2 visa. So, everybody, welcome to Stories Told Real Business Sales with Jeff and Jenna. I'm Jen Armstrong from Transworld Business Advisors of Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm here with Jeff and Jenna from Transworld Business Advisors of Ontario, California. And this interview really matters because it touches on so many real world scenarios: franchise ownership, cross border buyers, and how strategic marketing and follow up can rescue a deal that had already failed once before. So, Jenna, let's start from the top. What kind of business was this, and what made it a bit different from the average listing?
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, Jen. We appreciate you doing this. And this was actually a well-established tutoring center franchise. It was in a great location and it had steady clientele. What made this kind of unique was that the buyer was relocating himself and his entire family from Canada using an E2 visa program to buy the business. So that definitely added a bunch of extra layers to the transaction.
Yeah, that's definitely probably not your everyday deal. So, Jeff, what were some of the biggest challenges?
Well, Jen, thank you for the question. The biggest challenge up front was that the seller had tried to sell his business, the exact business, with another broker for nearly a year with no results. So by the time he came in, he was very skeptical and honestly discouraged. And honestly, this was actually a fantastic business, clean books, well organized, not something we typically would see, honestly, with a business. So also because this was a franchise, there were a lot of complicated steps, compliance forms, approvals, and back and forth with a franchisor. So add the E2 visa process on the buyer side, and there's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So, what did you guys do differently that actually got it sold?
So we, of course, did a full marketing refresh. We rewrote all of the listing information. We made sure that it was out on all the marketing platforms online. We also took it through our 6-step buyer process. So when buyers are coming in, there's an automated non-disclosure program. So the minute someone's on tworld.com or BizBuySell and they fill out that inquiry form, they're automatically sent over a non-disclosure to sign. And once that's signed, usually they're either getting the marketing information right away, or they're getting like additional information before we call and then vet the buyer. So we make sure that there's always information flowing between us and the buyers. And then we're constantly following up with those buyers to make sure that they're, are they the right buyer and that they're getting all the information that they need. So we don't just kind of list a business and hope that it sells. It's a really active engagement the whole way through the process. And I feel like that made a really big difference.
Absolutely. And we stayed really hands-on during the franchise approval process, helping with the back and forth between the buyer and seller, and even help get all those documents signed remotely. I mean, at one point, there was over 75 initials just with the franchisor form. And that's something you just don't want the buyer or seller to get stuck on.
Yeah, for sure. That's huge. So then I guess I would go to ask, what is the one thing that you wish every seller before they listed their business?
I guess that not all brokers are the same. I mean, this isn't the first time that we've met with a seller that's had their business listed before and it didn't sell. So just know that if you've tried to sell your business before, that doesn't mean that it's not valuable or that there aren't the right buyers out there. You just might have had the wrong broker, and that we would love to talk to you and see how we might be able to help.
And whether you're an individual, part of a franchise, we'll bring in buyers from all outs. It could be from out of the country, helping them get into the US. It's just even more important to have someone who knows how to navigate that landscape.
Yeah, you're so right on. Then if you looked back at this transaction, what would you say is that one moment that stood out for you guys during that process?
I think one of the things that really stood out to me was, just as Jeff kind of mentioned earlier, what an amazing seller this was. To date, I have never seen another seller this organized with such good processes, systems, bookkeeping, like everything was on point. So he was so frustrated that the business hadn't sold before. And so that just really stands out to me, that like we can still help people like that. What about you, babe?
Yeah, we just give them a new hope, right? So we give them that whole refresh. let's start again, you know, sorry you had a maybe not a great experience before, but let us help you out. Let us help you walk through the process.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. So if someone is watching this and they're either thinking about selling or even buying, what would you want them to know?
I guess if you're the seller, like number one, don't wait until you're too burnt out. Make sure you have a little bit of gas in the tank to take it through the process. Because in this case, I mean, it was a very long process to get this business sold. We still got it done. And just know that we're here for you. Even if, like I mentioned, if the last broker didn't perform, make sure you're out of that contract before we can help you. But then definitely give us a call. We'd love to talk with you.
And also make sure that you're working with a good either CPA or bookkeeper to make sure that you have great books in line. I mean, that definitely helps us out and gets everybody on the right foot. And if you're a buyer, especially whether you're local or looking international, make sure that you get with us so it makes sure we make the transaction as smooth as possible.
Yeah, I like to call that sometimes the power team, right? Like who's on your power team? The CPA, financial advisor, and an amazing broker, I think makes a big difference. So, for everybody out there, if you are thinking about selling or buying a business in Southern California or anywhere else, Transworld can help. But make sure we connect you with Jeff and Jenna, and you can find their information below. And don't forget to subscribe and especially share this video with somebody else that you think could benefit from it. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thanks,
Thanks
Jen, for
again.
having us.